Hello and welcome back to another edition of Terry Wild RC. Today we are going to be putting a throttle return spring into the FS-ST8 from Flysky. So let's get into it. Right guys, let's get this throttle spring installed on the new Flysky FS-ST8. It is an 8 channel and it is expandable to 10. We have a radio and we do have an 8 channel receiver in the box, and we have very little else. A little bit of a brief book, but we don't need those, because what we're going to do is we're going to use the foam lid, put this upside down. Let's have a quick look inside. Yeah, there you go. That screw just here. It looks like it's a hex drive, so let's have a look. Yes, it is. This is straight out of the box, so there is no batteries in it. I'll try and keep my hands out of the way so you can see what I'm doing. This is a 2.5mm hex driver, so nothing special, no safety screws or tech screws, anti-tamper screws, whatever you want to call them. They're just cap head. So there are our 5 screws. Now I have noticed on the download manual there's 2 versions. Right, I shall just show you on the download of the radio. I'll just show you what I've done on my phone. Start the screen recorder. And I shall show you what is happening. So this is what's happening. If I go into most recent, okay, so here we have the second one down, the 2022 0407. It does say in the let's get that back to the top. It does say in the index that the throttle spring installation is 8.2, but if you scroll down to 8.2, you'll see that it goes from 7 to 9, and it doesn't show you chapter 8. So if we go into the 2022 0530, this one does have that section here, which shows you how to install that throttle return spring. Now I thought it would be included in the kit, but it's not. So what I'm going to do is fit one of my own. Now These Flysky radios, I've had experience where they come with different size pins, and I've put together a kit here which has different size pins. So there's 6mm, 1.5 and 2mm, and 8mm long, 1.5 and 2mm diameter. So whatever Flysky radio you've got, there will be a pin in there for it, and I've put these together myself. So let's open up this radio and let's have a look. Always be careful that there's going to be possibly wires between the back section and the front section, so I always take these off with a little bit of caution. I'm not using any tools to try and prise it open because it should just come open. So yeah, there we have a connection. So I'm just going to gently unplug that and put that over there, and we'll bring you in here. This is the throttle gimbal that is not spring loaded, so I can have a closer look in this side, and we can see these roll pins. Let me get something to point with. These roll pins here, or dowel, whatever they are, just here and here, they are what press down on the arm. Let me just activate that, and that's how that's supposed to work. And as we can see, there's no arm or pins at all on there. So what we shall have to do is fit some pins in this gimbal. So I'm going to get you in a little bit closer, and then I am going to attempt to change it. Now, it does say in the instruction manual that we are to remove the entire gimbal, but I'm going to try and not remove the gimbal. I'm going to remove the tension stick that holds the throttle stick into position by putting friction on this part here. We don't need that friction rod because it needs to move freely. So I need to get the dowel pins in here. So what I'm going to do is remove these, just put the screws to one side. I will be leaving the screws just to one side. So they are the right hand bracket. They're the right hand bracket. Oops, getting my hand in the way. And this is the left hand bracket. I know they're all the same, but I need to take them apart. So this gimbal should just lift out. I think we might need to lift that out. I'm going to put that just there, noting the orientation of how it came out. Lift that out with the board, careful not to pull it too hard. Pull that out and then put that there, noting the orientation because they will only go in one way. So I need some needle nose pliers. I need a roll pin, and that just goes in there. Don't rush, because if you do, you might break something. Just trying to get that square in to the hole. That's in. And the next one goes in there, like so. You with me so far? Good, good, good. So we'll take this piece and slide it back onto there. Stick that on there, get that over there. Right, so now all we do is just lay in that lever just there. Turn that around. Let me just zoom out so you can see what I'm doing. I'm screwing this long screw into the upper part of the spring retainer. Now what I'll do is I'll only put it in. Let me try and get a better shot of that so it looks, where's my focus point? There. So it looks like that. So then that simply slots in there like that. So now what we need to do is get that little spring between those two, and that is easier said than done. Let me get the spring. I just grab the top part of the spring with a pair of tweezers, hook it underneath the spring, the lever arm, and then over the top of that, so that is now free to move. So if the right hand pin pushes down, it springs up. If the left hand pin pushes down, it springs up. It's as simple as that. So now we can get this whole assembly and lower it back in, put this back on there, so that all slots down, absolutely no pressure whatsoever, it just fell in. So now I'll just get this the screws. I turn them back a little bit until I hear them click, and then with my fingertips just drop them in, because if that, the purpose of reversing the screw means that the threads go back into the same cut as they originally went in, and they don't try and recut a new thread. And you can feel it drop in. It's quite easy, just with my fingertips. Nothing, no heavy weight needed really. So I'm just going to knit those with my fingertips, and that should be, see how it pushes down on the front pin and then pushes down on the next pin. Now what you can do here is, the higher up this hook here, get my white pointer, the higher up this hook, the more tension you're going to put on that spring. So if I was to screw that in, it pulls that spring right up, so basically it preloads the spring, and if you undo it, it takes off the weight of the spring. See how it's quite loose. So I like to have, you know, like a nice positive feel on the stick. So I kind of put a bit more weight on there. This spring here is for the sideways movement, and as you can see, that screw is all the way in, so there's quite a lot of weight on that. And same with this one here, that one's all the way in, and so is this one here. So there's quite a lot of pre-tension on these, this spring here and this one. So we've basically done the same with our spring kit. So basically that is it for the spring installation. What more can I say? It's just a case of plugging this back in there, putting the bolts back in. Now again, just turn it back until you hear that click, so the threads drop back into the original thread, so you're not recutting a second groove in that delicate post. And again, just using fingertips to reassemble, basically. Sometimes it's really quite subtle to hear the screws dropping back into the original thread. Don't over tighten them, absolutely no need. I'm just going to spin these in. I'm not putting any weight on them, it's just more comfortable for me. And just start at the bottom, make sure that they're all nipped up, and that is it. So let's come back up here. Let's get some batteries in, because now we have altered the sticks slightly. So now we have all self-centering. Excellent, that's exactly what we want. Once everything's in, the batteries are in, and we power it on. Now, you just tap down on the stick. There is another option. You can either just power it up, and when it says throttle high, you can just click the scroll wheel, and that'll just enable it. And then before we go any further, we press the menu button, and then we go into TX set, go down to calibration, and then we click start. Click the top part of this button, and then we move these in all 4 directions, and then press OK. Calibration successful. And then we can go over into general menu and look at the monitor, and we can see that channels 1 to 4 are on the sticks, and that is basically the spring kit done and dusted. So yeah, any questions, just ask, and I will, endeavour to answer all comments. Give it a like, give it a share, and subscribe. It helps the channel, it helps you, it helps you in the way that you get related contents. So next one I'll be doing is trying to set this up with some of the systems that I use. So thanks for watching, and see you in the next one.